Hello, my tennis patients. In today's clinic, we're going to be looking at Tsitsipas's backhand. A lot of people think that he has one of the worst backhands in the game, but he is number 6 in the world, and if the things that he does are good enough for him, it's definitely good enough for you as well. And I'm going to prove to you that he actually checks all the boxes, and his one-handed backhand is no different from all the other greats. Without further ado, let's begin. So in phase 1, we have a no, backswing, backswing. What I mean is, the non-hitting hand is on the throat of the racket, and he coils his body. It's not a turn, it's a coil. We've got the letter U, okay? Specifically, L for leverage in the wrist. The racket head is above the hand, and the tip of the racket is pointing up to the sky. No different than Wawrinka or Federer or any other great player with a one-hander. This arm is also bent and up against the chest, and the hips have gotten sideways. Now, he's also delaying the step by getting up on this toe, and he has shifted his weight to his outside leg. And he is just about more than sideways. Now, the upper body has turned past the hips. So that's phase 1. Also note how this elbow is not tucked in. We air the armpit at the back. Okay, there's another letter L, also another letter U, L for leverage. Bend under the armpit, a bend in the arm as well. This supporting hand is so important for having leverage on the one-handed backhand. Letter L for leverage. Now, in phase 2, he's still turning. And I say this all the time. We got to get more than sideways to stay sideways. We don't open up on the one-handed backhand. This is the kind of coil that you need. The major checkpoint is the front shoulder getting underneath the chin. Okay, every good one-hander turns as much as possible. Now in phase 2, we're going to see him have the racket fall into the slot. The strings are pointing to the back fence, just like every other good player, and the non-hitting hand is still on the throat of the racket. He's going to let go around his back pocket, right there, and now the hitting arm is going to start to straighten out. Boom. And you'll notice at contact point, it's very hard to tell, but his wrist is still up. The racket head is not below the hand. This is the only way to get leverage on your one-handed backhand. There is no such thing as a wrist roll. It's not possible to hit a hard, consistent shot if you're rolling your wrist. The wrist is up, okay, it's very hard to tell, but just because the ball is down here doesn't mean that his racket head isn't consciously up. Okay, if this was maybe down here, we could say, yeah, he's rolling his wrist. But it's the only way to hit a firm one-handed backhand and actually get leverage, or else you'll have a flimsy, weak contact point. The ball will fling off to the side, and you won't get any leverage. The only way to understand this is to try it yourself, but I emphasize this all the time. L for leverage. The racket face can't fall below the hand. Now from here, notice that contact. He is not opened up. He is completely sideways. Also note that he's stayed down with his legs, and not until the ball has left his strings does the leg, it doesn't even straighten out. Now it's straight. Let's take that back again, okay? I want to point out to you how we have a hit and freeze, okay? We hit and stay down. Boom. Notice how he's not popping up at all with the lower body. Boom. You got to hit and freeze, okay? Again, we don't forget about the non-hitting hand either. Watch what happens to it after he lets go at his back pocket. We spread the wings. Boom. And his head stays down. You want to keep your head still as well. Boom. You don't look up. Okay, you don't open up until the ball has completely left your strings. Okay? Now, let's look at it from the rear angle. So let's be thorough and let's really take a look at what's happening from the back angle just to prove of all the observations that we have made. So again, split step, we're going to have a no, backswing, and it's much easier to see from this angle. Air the armpit in the back, L for leverage in the wrist, and we're going to see how sideways he really gets. Boom. He's more than sideways. Okay. Now, this is the racket drop phase. We're going to see the strings. You know, he's about to hit cross court. Right, we could even coil a little bit more, but about to here is good. Okay, as long as the strings are pointing to the back fence, that's a good enough coil. Some players get it even further back, but it's not too significant. And still, the wrist is in the slot. Okay, L for leverage. Okay, the butt cap is leading towards the ball, but that's a byproduct of just having the racket head above the hand, right? It's not below the hand. He's down with the legs. We're going to see him hit and freeze. And this is a great example of what I'm talking about. And people tell me that no one does this, where usually when we're hitting on a straight line across court and we have time, we're not on the run, we fire this toe behind ourselves. We fire the hip. Look at the toe drag. It helps you stay sideways. It helps you uncoil into the ball. A lot of good one-handed players do this. In fact, pretty much all of them. Federer, Wawrinka, boom. Okay. Again, we can see. It's a little bit harder to see the contact point from here, but we can see the finish. Okay, he is sideways. He's also leaning over his front toe with his chest as he hits. We spread the wings. Boom. And he still hasn't popped up. Watch the hit and freeze. Hit, stay down. Now we come up. Okay? Boom. So, if it's good enough for Stefano Tsitsipas, okay, number 6 in the world right now, these things are definitely good enough for you. And, well, his backhand can't be that bad if he's been this successful. In any event, thank you for tuning in, and use what you've learned to modernize your game.
Tennis Doctor is a self-help tennis book for adults. You could have 40-inch biceps, rapid anticipation, fancy feats, and a brilliant mind, but if you have poor swing mechanics, you will never win. You can have slow reactions, terrible footwork, and be 40 pounds overweight, yet still make a good shot if you can produce a perfect swing. By reading Tennis Doctor, you own the secret to a perfect swing, and if we have to, we'll call you an Uber to get you to the ball in time. Read it now on Amazon. Tired of going down a rabbit hole of tennis videos? I have organized, categorized, and systemized the best tennis information for playing advanced level tennis, and I want you to have it. You can copy it, get better fast, and save time and money that you will never get back. Get started today by clicking the link down below.